My name is Peter. Yeah, the guy you see there on the picture, looking kind of tired, right? Well, it's been 20 freaking years, my friends, since this chaotic trip started. I never believed that we would make it this far with this kind of music or this kind of lifestyle. And since we're still alive, I think it's time to tell the story about the hypocrisy. Hypocrisy got started early 90, I think, and like so many other things in this band, it didn't go as normally does, you know. We went kind of backwards, and we didn't have a video or an album, not even a band name, but at least we had one thing. We had a contract with Nuclear Blast.
I moved up to Ludvika from Stockholm. I grew up in Stockholm, and a mutual friend told me that he knew this guy who recorded a demo, and that sounded awesome. But he wasn't happy with the vocal parts. This guy asked me if I could consider, you know, putting on vocals on that demo, and I said, yeah, sure. I go down and listen to it. That's the first time I met Peter, and I didn't honestly expect very much at first, because I saw this tiny, skinny guy with long, greasy hair who had dark rings around the eyes that made Uncle Fester look almost normal. I think the first song I heard was Nightmare. Whoa, this is something different, you know. I was sold.
I remember it actually. Must have went in and put vocals on, and it's like, yeah, this is it. And he had all these crazy ideas. He was like. He was an ass kisser. Ass kicker. Sorry. Okay, cut. He was no, but you were an ass kicker because he was always extreme. This guy was just going like, motherfucking, all this shit, you know. And it was like, yeah, fuck yeah, that's what we need. And we were only two people. Remember that when we got signed?
We had a problem when we got signed that
we didn't have a band.
What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Shit. We didn't even have an album.
Yeah, nothing. Or a name. And then you went like, Hypocrisy. I'm like, whoa, that's cool.
And Hypocrisy it is.
Yeah, and that's how it is.
At that time, it was, you know, I was very young as well, and I was really upset with the religious community that we have. We don't really have a freedom of speech because you have to be a Christian. You can't be anything else. So I was trying to get out my hatred to the whole system, really. And you know, it just, at that time as well, all death metal bands had like splatter or satanic lyrics.
In the name of evil, Lucifer rules the world. Yeah.
I made the logo at first, the first Hypocrisy logo, and I included the pentagram because it just fit in there so perfectly. So I didn't want to be like any other poser band, so we had to have satanic lyrics because we have a satanic symbol in the logo.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I joined the band in the early 90s, and I was 16 years old, I think, and I was still going in school, still lived at my parents' place, and everything was new for me. I was a die-hard metal fan. I was buying the records, I was going to concerts, and suddenly I had a chance to be in a band that had a record deal. That was more than a dream come true for me.
It was Masse, me, and Michael and Söke and Jonas who got together. Anyhow, we got a contract and now we have a band. So we started recording the album in the same demo place, or this studio my friend has. And that turned out to be a Penetralia album.
The demo tracks were already written by Peter, so I started writing, you know, lyrics, and I could not write lyrics without having Michael Hedlund in front of me at my kitchen table. It was impossible. I tried many times, you know, just sitting and trying, you know, to get influenced or something, you know, in my head to write down, and started, and nothing came up. But as soon as I had Michael Hedlund in front of me, it just came, you know, down, and everything just went, whoop, all right, one lyric down, you know.
I started playing acoustic guitar when I was 7 or 8 years old, and I actually think I wrote my first song when I was 8 or 9 years old with the acoustic guitar, just going fring fring, you know. And my neighbor that I should really thank for all feeding of all kinds of music, because he was 10 years older than me, and I was always hanging out with him. And he come home with the Ramones. He was coming home with the Hurricanes. He was coming home with the Kiss albums. The first, you know, like I got the first Kiss album, '76, you know, through him. And I was always there sitting, and he was playing the records, and I was just going, oh, cool, cool, you know. So I got my input from him, really, you know. My girlfriend at the time had a neighbor that had a daughter that was married to some guy in America who needed a au pair. I was fortunate to actually go there with her, and I ended up staying there for 3 years. You know, at the same time when I got there in '88, you know, the metal scene in Florida started blooming, you know, with Deicide and Morbid Angel and Obituary and everything. It was just going like, and I was there at the time, and it was like, whoa. Because I thought it was natural, because I didn't know it was just happening at the time. And friends of mine, you know, like in Malevolent Creation and Monstrosity, they were just like, check this band out, check this band out. And I was just going like, what the fuck is going on, you know? After 3 years, it was so hard to go somewhere and record demos and stuff like that. It was so expensive in America. So my friend back here, he said like, yeah, I got a 16-track studio now. I built up, you know, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. So I just told the guys, I need to go home and get all my ideas out here, you know. And that's actually how the first Hypocrisy demo came out, you know. This is how Hypocrisy got started. Now we had a band, we had a video, we had a contract and an album. So in our world, all the needed ingredients to get in trouble.
Me and Peter had a phone call. You know, you're gonna do this triple trash treat on Headbangers Ball. It was
Yeah,
called.
but the problem was like before that they banned our Left to Rock
Yeah, the video.
So they wanted, since I was talking to Vanessa so much.
Yeah, they wanted to read the lyrics, and we rewrote the lyrics, kind of like, and it was so funny.
Instead of slaughter,
Shit.
it would be like
Yeah.
I love you or something like that. Try to pass
It
the
was
censor.
so embarrassing, you know. But you know, like on the train there, we took the night train down to Copenhagen to meet Vanessa Warwick. We came to her hotel a little bit too early, so she was not ready. Me and Peter went up, just knocking on the door, and she opened this door, this heavy metal icon of Headbangers Ball, you know, with the long blonde hair. She opened without the extensions.
And without the makeup.
Without the makeup, and we were like, what? You know, can we speak to Vanessa, please? You know, we have an appointment.
And she's like, it's me!
And we didn't realize that it was her. And she was so angry that we were there too early. She was like, well, fuck off, you know, I'm gonna meet you downstairs in the lobby, like, in 45 minutes. We're like, all right, like, what? Oops. She was screaming mad that we were early. you know, cause
she looked like fucking hell.
she was like a skinny bitch on skinny bitch dark age whore. It was, she was on, you know, nothing like you saw on TV. Because I mean, Vanessa Warwick was a girl that, you know, like sometimes I used to masturbate about.
Oh, come on!
Oh yeah, she was hot.
No, not that hot.
Okay, well, she,
Hot for you maybe then. Alright.
she had something with that other guy going. But anyway, anywhu, you know.
He used to masturbate to anything, like a
I thought she
tree
was
or,
kind of hot.
or a car or whatever. He used to be over sexual.
No, but still. No, but seriously, when we saw her on Skin, oh shit, do you remember that? And she was so fucking upset, and I was upset, because I was like, what the fuck?
Well, that was not the only time we or someone because of us got upset. It seemed like there were always been confusion and surprised moments around us.
I think what made Hypocrisy unique in the beginning was the fact that they were the only Swedish or Scandinavian band that didn't sound Scandinavian. They sounded more American, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And nowadays, all Swedish bands try to sound like Florida technical death metal.
Yeah.
But we're never technical.
No, of course not.
That's why. Because we don't know how to play.
I remember, I think it was for Penetralia album, or it might have been Osculum as well, but we had this old like mixing table, a Swedish one, Hagström, and it was kind of funny with the electric, so you have to kick it like 3 times for it to start up. You know, it was so funny, you know, like, and the only one who could do it was Peter, because he knew how to kick in the right place, because otherwise you fucked it up even more. And so I think that was for Penetralia album. And for Osculum, I remember when we were recording that, we came into the studio and came down, and we didn't see, there were no reverb, no echoes whatsoever. So we asked the owner, like, you know, like, where's the equipment? So, oh, sorry, I rented it out. So we did the whole album without any compressors or whatsoever. So therefore, the vocals on Osculum is pretty much like in your face, and you know, back. You know, it's no level. It's kind of charm about the whole album, I think.
And Sergey, he's always been like a hardcore, like, metal dude. He's like, who needs the fucking effects? Let's just do it dry, you know, do it fucking old-fashioned. That was punk for us, you know, we were just going, let's go against the stream.
I think at that time, you know, trying to get away a little bit from the demonic kind of lyrics with Hypocrisy for Osculum Obscenum, even though the title is totally satanic, but you know, ironically I was trying to write something new, because I've been writing those kind of lyrics for many years, and a subject can be drained after a while. You know, you have to become more extreme or whatsoever, and I decided that I didn't want to go even more satanic, so go into the more, that's why, you know, the song Exclamation of an Necrophag, it's a killer title, by the way. So that was kind of a turning point for me anyway, in Hypocrisy history, I guess. We had a first live appearance at a festival in Ludvika called Skutam Festival. It was a chaotic show because it was so many people at this beach festival that didn't know what death metal was all about, and then they saw some really die-hard kids started stage diving and so on. So of course all the drunks wanted to stage dive as well. So all of a sudden there were more people on the stage than off the stage, and everybody was diving straight down to the ground. You know?
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing a lot of drinking, of course, on the bus, and sometimes the drivers don't like us, and then there's a lot of ugliness, and then next day we have a new driver. So I think on one tour we went through like 8 or 9 drivers because they couldn't handle it anymore.
Ja, söker. Nu får du visa.
Ja, håll käften! Ja, jag snackar! Håll käften! Då har jag lite grann grejer att visa er. Först har vi här, va? En Sprite, va? Rakt av, va?
En Sprite.
Jag har flera frågor! Håll käften, för fan! Jag... Det här är en gammal fin tysk grogg från 1942. Jag tar väl skåla på då!
Sen får vi ha lite Mallorca-feeling. Vi har...
Jag tycker vi skålar på det hela, alltså!
Skål på
No, but I'm sure there's always good times and bad times. And bad times.
Bad times.
Usually
Usually you don't realize when it is bedtime. But I would say the good times are
When I'm
more than
asleep.
the bad times. Yeah, when you sleep, but that's a good time.
I guess.
For everyone else.
Has there been fucked up shows because of alcohol?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's this Brooklyn incident actually, I think it's called.
Oh, the Brooklyn incident. That was it was partly a mistake, so to speak. I mean, we were hanging out in a bar in New York, and at first we got Peter came up with the idea. It was me, Michael, and Peter hanging out at a bar, and he came up with the idea of like chartering a chapter. But it didn't turn out that way because, I mean, it was way too expensive, or I don't know the reason, but it was like, or maybe it wasn't available. But then we wanted to have a stretch limo. So we got a black stretch limo. It showed up at the bar, and then we just went out and we took it from there, so to speak. There was like 2 bottles, one transparent bottle of transparent liquor, and then it was a bottle of whiskey, and it was all empty when we were done. It was 3 hours of I don't know. It was 3 hours of good fun. I remember a camera flying out of the backseat window. That's all I remember. And then the show itself. I absolutely no recollection whatsoever.
Yeah, people had both fun and also got very pissed. People pay a lot of money to go and see a show, and then you have 3 Mongols in the front of the row just don't even know how to act. I mean, the guitar technician had to hold Holma in the back because he couldn't even stand, And I was standing and singing, like screaming my ass off, and I looked up and the microphone was over there, and it was just shit like that happens.
For the basic of you, I'm my destiny. All letting go through my mind as I see myself going on. Wake me up from this nightmare. I'll cry out, make it I know it's only death metal, but I like it. I know it's only death metal, but I like it.
Well, the best part of being on tour is when you are on stage in front of a great audience. The worst is to live in a shitty, tight and smelly tour bus for a long time. Touring can be really fun and overall I like it. But if you get exhausted and can't get enough sleep and so on, then it's no fun anymore.
A wise man said that after joy, there's sorrow. And in this business, I say, sometimes shit hits the fan. And it really hit us in Germany in 1993.
And I think we played in Stuttgart. We did our show, everything worked out really good. Came up to the dressing room, but Masse, he wasn't there. So I was thinking, what the fuck is going on? So I went to the bathroom and I found him there. He had passed out. And so I ran back to the dressing room and said, like, you have to call an ambulance. I think he's dead.
During the first European tour, I was getting ill after a while, and during one show, I think it was in Germany somewhere, I can't remember where, I cracked my eardrum during the performance. I can't really remember that. You know, I was just remember feeling dizzy and had funny hearing from the monitors, and then all of a sudden I apparently passed out and I was carried up to the backstage room, and it was in Stuttgart. So I woke up in Stuttgart in a hospital bed. After that, you know, I just told the guys that, you know, I'm gonna fly home, you know, I'm gonna end the tour, and I told Peter that you're gonna manage the lyrics anyway. You know the lyrics, you know. So I was gonna go home, and so I did, and that's my departure of Hypocrisy.
So that was a pretty tough situation, a very tough situation at that time. We were on tour and no lead singer. We didn't give up. I mean, Peter did a great job on the tour. The tour, when he passed out, we were still continuing doing that tour with Peter on vocals, and it worked out fine.
All right, we're having Hypocrisy, and we as you can see, I'm singing because our singer is sick, so I'm trying to do the best, all right? We gotta keep on going with the song from our new album called Osculum Obscenum.
Okay, what do we do? Do we go home or do we continue? You know, and hopefully he's gonna fly back when he gets better, or what should we do? You know, there was a lot of money and a lot of shit going on. So we decided to go on. So when we got back home, you know, so I started to pull back Osculum tapes in the real tape and start going, okay, let's pull down his voice and let me put some vocals on, because I had like 4 weeks now on touring to sing at the same time. So, and then we listened to it when I did the Inferior, and I was like, okay, it doesn't sound too bad. And then we did a couple more songs on there, on the EP, and just to, yeah, to check me out, see how I would sound, you know, if I would take over the mic and stuff like that. And the three of us, we agreed like, okay, it sounds good. So me and Master talked it out, you know, and then he went his way, we went our way. And it was just a try to see if I was worthy to sing, you know, or if we should get another singer. No, it was actually, there was no thought. It was just business as usual, you know? The only problem was like someone left the fucking keyboard in the studio where I worked. And so I started playing on it and started writing songs together with it, and that's Apocalypse, Fourth Dimension and stuff like that, when there started being keyboards in there. We went to this fancy studio in Stockholm, Park Studio. It's like a lot of big bands been recording there. And because we just wanted to, we got a very big budget for it, you know. And I remember we were discussing, we said like, okay, I spend a lot of money, you know, to go to a fancy studio, because then we can say we've been to a fancy studio, even if we're nothing anymore, you know. So that was the whole point, and maybe we'll get a good sound at the same time, you know. It went the opposite way, you know. The people there, they didn't know anything about metal or nothing, and it's hard for us in the band to try to go like, yeah, but we want this sound, and the guys at the place going like, yeah, I know, yeah, you know. And we're like, okay, we trust him, and you know, in the end, it was probably the worst sounding album ever. I know a lot of people like the album, but you know, the sound is just so terrible. It's unbelievable.
When you play in a band, you want to develop. I mean, you want to do something new instead of repeating yourself and do the same album after each other, you know. And so we try to do it some parts with keyboards, you know, to get it more atmospheric and more melodies, harmonies, and stuff like that to make it more interesting. So I think the Fourth Dimension and Abducted, those two albums were a step in the right direction for Hypocrisy, and we found out our style that we still have kept during the years.
think we re-recorded like 3 or 4 times. You know, we weren't happy. We threw away shitloads of songs and just kept on redoing it. And I think you can definitely tell by the album. It sounds good. It was only once there was a down, you know, with Nuclear Blast, and that was like at the Abducted area, you know, in '96, when we got very disappointed because we thought we did the best album in the world, like Metallica's Black Album, kind of Hypocrisy in our way, you know, and we didn't really feel like they were pushing on that album. So things have got really tense, and also in between me, Michael, and Söke got a little intense, you know, and I started thinking about, you know, going my own way and do my own shit, you know, and that's why I started Pain at that time, and that's when we started with the Final Chapter. It just felt like meaningless to do the album. So we decided, okay, this will be the last album. Let's do it, you know. And then, good thing was actually there was a new A&R guy starting at Nuclear Blast at the same time in '97. Andy Siri, he's still our A&R guy, and he called me up and he was just not chewing my ass off, but he was just like, "Come on, you can't quit. Come on, do this." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "Who the fuck are you? I don't even know you," you know, but. Yeah, he actually kind of saved the Hypocrisy career. The Final Chapter was weird, the way we recorded it. I played drums on half of the album, I think, on the Final Chapter, but Lars played guitar on half of the album. You know, I mean, he was a better guitarist than I ever will be, and maybe I'm a better drummer than he is, you know. So it was funny because Lars is an incredible guitarist, you know, and he writes all these crazy riffs. Any of the weird riffs you will hear from the albums that Lars has been on, it's probably he who wrote them, you know. Gig was such a fucking rush. It was like, that was definitely the turning point of playing live. It was just like, holy shit, this is what you can get, you know. We went out and played, and then they said, okay, no more songs. And we're like, okay, we had to walk off. And I remember the guards had to chase all 5,000 people out of there, and they were throwing shit up on stage because they, Vacuum wouldn't let us do encore or anything because I guess we went over time or something like that, and yeah, shit was flying everywhere. We just had to duck. So the people who had to take away this shit, there was just bottles and cups and things flying everywhere. And like afterwards, they're like, yeah, we have it on video as well. So if you want to get it mixed and stuff like that. So we told our mixer guy to mix the album, the live concert, and yeah, there it is. And it was just like a classic. I mean, at the whole 90, I think we never asked how much we sold. We didn't really know. It wasn't really important for us. I think the most important thing was like how many people showed up. And that's how we figured that's how we sell, kind of, So we never knew what was good sales or bad sales or anything like that, But anyhow, we went to Mexico and it was just fucking banana over there, They didn't have the best equipment at the time. I think it was like 95 or something like that. I remember I got electrocuted all the time because it was so, the air there was so wet. I don't know what it's called. Humid, moist. Moist is a pussy. Humid. Pussy is a moist thing,
It's humid.
Oh, there's no human pussy. What are you talking about?
Humid.
Oh, humid. Oh, anyhow, we got there and it was just mayhem, It was like a small club, maybe 600-700 people. And it was just like, wow, that's what we want to do. We missed everything, It was fucking crazy, I have always liked going to South America, and maybe this next clip will explain why.
Hey, Hypocrisy! Hey!
When we first started the Long Time No Death tour in South America in September 2010, the first place was Sao Paulo in Brazil. And like you see, it's always great to come here. Nice people, good venues, and great fucking fans, A good way to start a tour anyhow.
Go ahead.
Peter, you are the master of death metal. I love your job in all your projects, and especially Hypocrisy.
Hey Peter, you are the best.
The queen said,
All in all, good opening for the new leg of the tour, except one little thing.
Why were you puking?
I don't know, but I puked. Fuck.
Mexico. Anybody wanna have a cold beer?
Cold beer? Oh yes, please. I never deny a cold beer.
Good morning. Morning. No sign of Peter.
As usual, someone's lost. And it's Peter.
Peter is sleeping.
Yeah. Kiss some bison.
I love it, and I think I'm like molded for tour life. I actually got a text message from Peter asking me if I wanted to go on tour. It was pretty simple actually. And I just checked my schedule with working with other bands and I had nothing. So I jumped right on it and told him that sure, why not?
So we're here. We're in Granja de Pelby right now, and we changed the behind a little bit, so it might look like we're in Argentina, but we're not. We're actually in my hometown. You know, we put out some big screens. You know, so. El toro. No me lyssna mer. El toro. We want to go! We want to play!
Play for the people.
Yamaha.
So, like said, next up was Argentina, home of the best meat and small beers.
They got small beer here in Argentina.
Hey, show it to me. Fucking 1 liter Quilmes. Yes.
I'm not even tired.
Booze helps. Listen, kids, booze helps. Drink alone.
What's going on?
Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires,
yes. Bueno.
It's good. Good crowd.
Yeah, it was a good show. The journey continues. Now we head to Bolivia. Let's go.
Oh no! Bolivia, Torinha.
Hello, Bolivia, Bolivia. Hello, 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 hello. Kumbaya, chimbaya.
Some viewers might be wondering who's the lunatic voice mumbling on this film, but it's our lovely booking manager, Evo. Spare the moment. Oh, here he is.
People are waiting for Hypocrisy concert here in Bolivia, drinking some booze. This is called Horik in Bolivia. Jump. During the times of Hypocrisy album, Michael's and Lars' input was increasing. Was it because you were busy with some other stuff, studio or something like that?
Yeah, I wanted them to write more also. I mean, from the beginning, of course, it was my band or whatever, you know, but I always wanted it to be a team, you know, with writing and stuff. And I mean, me and Michael, when we write songs together, we're like McCartney, Lennon, Hanneman, King, you know, and shit like that. No, but it feels we have a very good chemistry when we start writing together and stuff, you know. And Lars, his fucking riffs are totally dark side of the moon, you know. He's really good guitarist. He's a better guitarist than a drummer, that's for sure, you know. So he always did this weird and complex melody riffing stuff, you know. So it was always good to get them in there as well, you know, because I mean, it takes more than one to build this thing up, you know. And you get so many different kind of Michael has his certain way to write music,
Lars had his way of writing music, I have my way of writing music, and so if you combine them together, it becomes hypocrisy at that point. Ooh, yummy. But it was 3.
Oh, 3?
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Which city?
Which city? Bogota.
Country?
Colombia.
Hi, this is Jessica, and we're doing Hypocrisy right now, and we're from Bogota, Colombia.
Let's see.
Speed. Speed in Colombia.
Columbus.
That's the Hypo line.
Yep.
Get into Hypo line.
As we left Bolivia behind, our next goal was Colombia.
Rockeros. Ah, yeah.
Slowly put it together to find new weapon technology and maybe answer how to live forever. Afraid of twin disease, chaos and confusion. The energy makes us slow, what we want, but we have the right to know what really is.
Kamikaze, la 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 la. Kamikaze, la 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 la.
Costa Rica. Come on.
Costa Rica, yeah. Really interesting place to visit. People were waiting for us and hungry for a good show. So the expectations were big. As big as the backstage passes.
Nice. Oh, Nelia.
Hola.
Are you ready?
it, so please help him out. That would be really nice, you know? Just get him over here somewhere so he doesn't get caught in front. Somewhere, anywhere, just help him out, alright?
Fucking hell!
We got the best seat in the house now.
How did we get there in the first place?
Get the guy a beer. He's thirsty. He needs a beer.
I just shit in my pants on stage. Can you fucking believe it?
Once in a lifetime.
After a really intense show in Costa Rica, it was time to hit El Salvador. Over there we had a, how to put it, a very intimate show waiting for us.
This is the place. Are we going in from the front? Or?
You are ready. You are ready, then.
Let's
So tell me when the Michael, when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready now.
All right. Ready to go, El Salvador.
That was one of the most intimate shows ever.
Yeah, for sure. Fucking great crowd. Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, it was good.
Even though we have done some really big festivals and show, it's sometimes nice to play in small clubs to get that real metal maniac feeling. And after El Salvador, it was time for the last gig of the tour. We were heading to Mexico.
I want to film garbage. Hypo basketball. Yamahama. Small chaos, come on, small chaos.
I will walk out a little bit.
Yeah, let's go. Just for fun. Hola.
What's up, man?
Hello, hello, hello.
Thank you. We have too many people. So I suggest that you take that, and I'm gonna take
Hypo meat, hypo meat.
Yeah, man.
Hypo meat, hypo meat.
Yeah, you are fantastic, man. You are awesome. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. They kicking us in. Like you see, it would have been great to stick around for a while with the fans, but the security thought otherwise. And maybe they were right. There was only 2 of them, you know, and many of you. So it could have been a heavy metal riot.
Where did you find Hork?
Well, since Hork's been playing drums with Pain, you know, from I think like around 2000 till 2002 or something like that. And plus, the first time I met him was at Heart of Winter recording with Immortal, so we got very good friends, and I know his skills, and I know he's a machine, you know. And it's always good to have a good rhythm section behind you. That when you go up on stage, you know, it's almost like press play. You know, he's the machine. My throat is totally dry. Give me a couple of those to chew on. See? Medicine.
Medicine. Did you see the human cannon?
Oh my
They
God.
just come out like from cannons.
Fall on the floor, I'm just going, oh!
4 hours.
Yeah. Someone's gonna die.
Yeah.
We're gonna break the arm, whatever, something. Mexico is crazy. Mexico, Mexico, viva la Mexico.
Good ending of a tour and an album.
Super. Super.
Holy shit.
Very good.
And I shit in my pants for the second time.
That's part of the game. Or do you ever shit in your pants? Never. You don't do that in Norway.
Did you shit in your pants?
Not today, but I have.
You?
Not yet, but it's coming. Tomorrow, on the plane.
It's a shit band, you know? What can you expect?
Shit in, shit out.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Okay. I close the camera now.
Yes.
Look at the masks.
Oh, this wrestler mask.
Yeah.
A lot of good memories. It was great. A lot of weird stuff happened, like
getting caught in the customs every day, and they brought me into some room and asked me 1,000 questions and pretending to call Interpol and stuff. They said I was wanted because I have a big beard, stuff like this. It was crazy.
When we started recording Final Chapter, there was a lot of tension everywhere. I mean, private life in the band, not happy with things around labels and blah blah blah, but you know, we solved the problem, and I think we got out stronger than ever from things, you know, just by dealing with the problems and tried to change everything. So when we went into do the next album after that, the self-titled Hypocrisy #6, we pretty much knew what needed to be done.
It actually started with Fourth Dimension, you know, with the lyrics and stuff like that, because I cannot top Masse's lyrics, you know, that's impossible, because he knows more about that area than I do. So I just started going about things that I knew, that not really many bands were singing about, you know, like different dimensions, and about how about this and what happens, you know, when your body or your soul leaves your body and you can see yourself from up, you know, see yourself either laying down or if you're traveling somewhere else and stuff like that. I just started spinning with the ideas, you know, anything from movies inspiring me and stuff like that. And Abducted, I really started going more for the science fiction or whatever you want to call it, you know, the alien stuff, you know, like anything from abducted stories that I heard about Whitley Strieberg, or, you know, I don't like to sing about nothing, you know, I want to sing about something that maybe I can relate to, or something that make me feel excited about, you know, not just go like blah, 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 and whatever, you know. So, yeah, the lyrics start becoming a meaning for me, not only as a tool to fill out the music, you know. You know, well, Into the Abyss came out, I think we wanted to go back to more brutal stuff. I remember Lars told me after we did all the songs, because I always do the lyrics last and all the recording on the lyrics, so none of the members ever know what the lyrics gonna be about or how I'm gonna sing, you know, because I usually do it by myself, you know. But anyhow, I remember when I gave Lars the album, like, okay, now I've done the songs with vocals and stuff like that, and he told me he was so happy. He was like, oh man, I'm so glad the way your vocals turn out on this album. It's like fucking the best, you know. And that was cool, you know. I that's pretty much the most thing I remember about that album, because I remember Lars was really happy with my vocals on it. I don't know if it's special or not. I can't really remember right now, because it was kind of a fucked up time for me when I recorded the album.
I mean, there was always problems, but you know, like I said, you know, we were never an active band. You know, with the management pushing us and you know, trying to tour. We did our own way and our own shit. You know, and we had a record company, and we still have a record company that gives us the freedom to do whatever we want. When we're ready, we go. You know. And that's the best part with Nuclear Blast, and that's how we worked, you know. As soon as we started getting management, that's when the whole thing got ugly. And that was in the 2000s. Other people started to try to do our decisions and taking care of our money. It just turned everything into business and a disaster.
Thank you. Sorry for the shitty gig. Sorry.
I think that's probably reasons why all things didn't work anymore and albums started sounding weird and we're just going banana, you know. It was just like, you know, in the past we did things in 3 ways and we're like, yeah, we're ready when we're ready and shit like that. But then when you have management's pushing and sending you off to ugly fucking tours that's saying one thing and then at the end you come home with nothing and so on. And we're like, damn, we've been doing this for like 10, 15 years and now we started getting fucked up the ass, you know, and it was like, I didn't want to be there. For me, the Catch-22 really became a personal album. Unfortunately, Michael and Lars got dragged into it, but you know, of course, I wrote the lyrics and I guess I'm the front man, so I just went like to all journalists and everything, you know, because management and everything, it was just like, I didn't want to have anything to do with nothing anymore.
I know many people were disappointed because it wasn't the classic Hypocrisy style, but I mean, I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, you have to come up with new things, and I'm very happy with the result of Catch-22.
In my mind, it was a revolution against everything that I've ever done before. It was just like, fuck everything, and it was good to get it out. It's like ventilating. You know, I hate to be predictable and shit, you know, and I think Hypocrisy always, you know, trying to be developing our music styles and, you know, just go forward all the time, you know. So I think Arrival was very what the fans wanted, I think, or what people would expect from Hypocrisy, you know.
You heard that one before. We got a new album out. Yeah, we got a new album.
As we got the new album out, we're also got a new drummer in. Longtime drummer Lars Serke was no longer in the band.
To be honest, I think that was the most difficult time in our, so far in the history for Over Hypocrisy. I mean, he's been in a band since the beginning, and it's like breaking up, you know, it's from your brother, you know, because we've been through so many things and been on tour, live very close to each other, and been in the studio for many days, you know. So it was very tough to go on after that. But I mean, at the same time, you can't just give up. You know, you have to look forward if you want to make it. So, and we were lucky. We found a new drummer.
came as a great surprise to me that Peter and Michael wanted to continue without Lars in the band. I had the impression that everything was working out fine in Hypocrisy. When Peter called me and said they wanted me in the band, it was really surprising. It never crossed my mind that I was going to become the drummer of Hypocrisy. But all of a sudden I had Peter on the phone asking if I wanted to join them. He didn't have to persuade me. I suggested the job there and then.
Sometimes you just grow apart, and I think that's what we did with Lars, you know, and we just grew apart, I guess. I mean, me and him been playing for like 20 years together, you know, since '85 and stuff. I mean, it was really tough for all of us, you know, when Lars left, you know, it was like, because he wrote so many riffs and stuff together with us, you know. The things he did, you know, was a part of the Hypocrisy sound. So, but you know, you gotta look forward, I guess, and just move on. So we just start writing in different ways, and I think the first song I wrote with knowing with Horg was in the band, it was Warpath, and you can definitely tell it's more made for Horg kind of drumming than Lars drumming, you know. So he influenced us to think a different way and, you know, give us some new blood in the band. Also, you know, Andreas came in the band also. We didn't have a second guitarist since the first album, you know. And but you know, Andreas was with us from 2002, touring.
The first thing that came to my mind, you know, when he asked me if I wanted to join them for a tour, is that what do you want me to do? Do you want me to be a tech? But then he said, yeah, well, we're going on a European tour with Immortal, and yeah, we took it from there.
Virus album turned out really great, and you know, because of that we started to tour like idiots, you know. And when you tour a lot, well, you know what happened then. You burn out.
We needed a break. We needed a break, otherwise I don't know what would have happened.
With the Virus album, I think we did like 3 American tours on that album and 2 European tours, and we were just, it was the same thing there, you know, managements and stuff that was driving us banana, you know. In the end of the day, when you came home, you still felt like you were ripped off and shit, you know, and you were promised things when you went on tour and it didn't happen. You got, you know, the whole thing was like starting from '93. We all said like, okay, let's have a long fucking break, because we were just so tired of everything, you know. So we were just like, okay, we'll do the album whenever we feel like it.
That feeling came out in 2009 when we released our latest and our 11th studio album, A Taste of Extreme Divinity.
So to keep the motivation and inspiration to create a new album it's not that easy. We came out stronger than ever on that album, and we are very, very happy about the result.
Well, as you can see, it's been 20 years of chaos and confusion, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's been a hell of a ride.
If I look back at 20 years, I'm very proud of what we have done, and I can stand up for everything. I mean, that's so music-wise or when it comes to the lyrics. So that's all I can say about that.
I'm not sure if I would have been the same person or have the same point of music view, you know, without being in hypocrisy.
The main memories from my time with the band, babysitting, I think, would be the best word to describe it.
But that was then, now is now.
And the rest is history.
Exactly. Hypocrisy. That's it.
That's it.
This is my